Electromechanical period. The electromechanical age can be defined as a time between 1840 and 1940. These are the beginnings of telecommunication. The telegraph was created in the early 1800s. Morse code was created by Samuel Morse in 1935. The telephone, one of the most popular forms of communication ever, was created by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876.
Example of device and their inventors in electromechanical period.
Alexander Graham Bell was born on March 3, 1847 and he died on August 2, 1922. Alexander Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell is known for his invention of the telephone, revolutionized communication as we know it. His interest in the sound technology was deep-rooted and personal, as both his wife and mother were deaf. While there's some controversy over whether Bell was the true pioneer of the telephone, he secured exclusive rights to the technology and launched the Bell Telephone Company in 1877. Ultimately, the talented scientist held more than 18 patents for his invention and work in communication. Invented telephone could successfully receive a patent for the telephone and secure the rights to the discovery. Days later, he made for the first ever telephone call to his partner Thomas Watson.
A telephone is a system that turns sound waves into electrical signals so that sound can be transmitted over a long distances. Telephones are used to transmit voice conversations, allowing people to talk to each other when they are not in the all same place.
Samuel Morse created the code in the 1830s as a way to communicate through an electric telegraph. He designed it so that letters used frequently in English would be easier to transmit. The letter E was somehow presented by one ad.
Morse code. Samuel Morse created the code in 1930s as a way to communicate through the electric telegraph. He designed it so that the letter used frequently in English would be easier to transmit. The letter E was the simplest, represented by one dot. Morse code. Samuel Morse created the code in 1930s as a way to communicate through the electric telegraph. He designed it so that the letter used frequently in English would be easier to transmit. The letter E was the simplest, represented by one dot.
Alessandro Volta. Alessandro Volta Giuseppe Antonio Anastasio Volta was born on February 18, 1745 and died on March 5, 1827 at Como, Italy. He was an Italian physicist and chemist who was a pioneer of electricity and power, who is credited as the inventor of the electric battery and the discoverer of methane.
Voltaic battery uses the Voltaic pile. In the 19th century, Voltaic piles quickly became power source in laboratories for experiments. It was used for electrolysis of water for the first time. With it, scientists could save electricity until they wanted to use it for an experiment or demonstration. But once they did, the jar needed to be recharged before it could be used again. The Voltaic pile, invented by Alessandro Volta in 1800s, was the first device to provide a steady supply of electricity.
Sir William Patrick Gill, who was an English inventor. He was with Charles Wheatstone, the co-inventor of the Wheatstone electrical telegraph, which was patented in May 1837.
Guglielmo Marconi is an Italian physicist and inventor of a successful wireless telegraph or radio in 1896. In 1809, he received the Nobel Prize for Physics, which he shared with German physicist Ferdinand Braun. He later worked on the development of shortwave wireless communication, which constitutes the basis of nearly all modern long-distance radio.
Telegraph. The printing press was the big innovations in communications until the telegraph was developed. Printing remained the key format for mass message for years afterward, but the telegraph allowed instant communications over vast distances for the first time in the human history. At the demonstrations of the use of wire in transmitting message led to his experimentation in 1836 with telegraph. Soon afterward, he had in Wheatstone, who had also worked with the telegraph, formed a partnership.
Guglielmo Giovanni Maria Marconi, first Marquis of Marconi FRSA, was an Italian inventor and electrical engineer known for his creation of a practical radio wave-based wireless telegraph system. Prior to the 1920s, the radio was primarily used to contact ships that were out at sea. Radio communications were typically achieved by the use of Morse code messages. This was of great benefit to vessels in the water, particularly during emergency situations.
Radio is sound communication by radio waves, usually through the transmission of music, news, and other types of programs from single broadcast station to multitudes of individual listeners equipped by radio receivers.
E. Felt. Dr. Eugene Felt was an American inventor and industrialist who was known for having invented the comptometer, an early computing device, and the comptograph, the first printing adding machine. The comptometer was primarily an adding machine. It could also subtractions, multiplication, and division. Its keyboard consisted of 8 or more columns of 9 keys each.
A comptograph is a comptometer with a printing mechanism, making it more like a key-set calculating machine, even though the keys are registered as they are typed and not when a handle is pulled. Therefore, slower and more complicated to operate. Otto Stiger. Otto Stiger, also known as Swiss engineer Otto Stiger, in 1858 to 1923, invented the millionaire, the first commercially successful machine based on the principle of direct multiplication, and patented in 1993. It was manufactured and marked by Hans Egli Company of Zurich beginning in 1899. By the early 1800s, 2,000 were in use, and the last 4,655 millionaire machines was sold in 1935. Millionaire. Otto Stiger invented this machine in 1895. His goal was to make a calculating machine that would multiply a number by a single digit directly with only a single turn of the crank. The Millionaire is a 4-species calculating machine for direct multiplication using a multiplier body, patented by Otto Stiger from Switzerland in 1893 and manufactured as a Millionaire by the Egli Company in Zurich for about 40 years.